Well, welcome to Direct Line for, when is it? It's May 13th. We're still in lockdown. This is what, about 2 months since
2 months.
we started in Maryland?
Hmm.
Unbelievable. But I have, I guess these are not doctors. There are, what, interns? What are you guys? You're,
These are
no,
guests to
residents?
Direct Line.
Resident, I know, wrong show. We've
Wrong
got,
show.
we got Jimmy and Maria, two of the stars of Young Republicans in Maryland. Well, Ryan's a star too, but he's like an old standby for us. Now, in the last year, and it's been just about a year since you took over as chair of the Young Republicans, Maria. Um, the Young Republicans in this state have kind of grown almost like a weed. I mean, what, you had one chapter or two chapters a year ago?
Yeah, it was about 2 chapters.
And what are you up to now?
So right now, the Young Republicans are making phone calls to seniors in Maryland. We're calling seniors in all of the counties and in Baltimore City, and we're checking on them, making sure they're doing okay, that they have the resources that they need during this pandemic. And we're also just, checking in and making sure that, hey, did they get their ballot? And if they didn't, giving them the Board of Elections number as well. So it's really great because we've been able to reach seniors all over the state. Had really great positive response. People are posting on Facebook thank you messages to us, which I think is really neat. I just saw one a couple of days ago saying, it's really nice that someone in the Republican Party is reaching out because they care about us. So it's just gotten really positive response. We're not the only state doing it. There's other Young Republican chapters across the country doing it. And so it's really a joint effort. And I'm really happy that our YRs have stepped up. We've teamed up with the college Republicans to do it as well. And I think IR's doing a great job doing that.
And that's actually one of the things. Jimmy, you're on the Central Committee as well as being a Young Republican. And that's one thing that's really been a hallmark of the last year is the level of coordination and cooperation that you've had with central committees around the state. And I think that helps everybody, doesn't it?
It does, and it's very exciting. It's a very exciting work we're doing. I have to compliment Maria on everything she's done so far for the Young Republicans, taking the reins and really, increasing fundraising, but also these phone calls have been phenomenal. We have an older population on the Eastern Shore, so right. It's very exciting that we're able to check in and let people know that the Republican Party is stronger than ever, that we're here to, ensure not only that it's politics, but making sure, the elderly, the regular Joe down the street is, surviving through this pandemic and making sure that, we're not just all about politics, but we're about the community as well. So it's been a very interesting experience working with her and then starting my mid-shore chapter for the Young Republicans covering Caroline, Dorchester, and Talbot, but also serving as vice chair on the Talbot Central Committee. It's been a very exciting time, but to put it this way, Maria and I and other younger Republicans like Ryan are the future of the party here, and we're really looking forward to holding that light and showing people what we're made of, and bringing more diversity to the party is definitely an objective of the Young Republicans, but also myself as the vice chair of the Talbot County Central Committee.
And those of us in Montgomery County, don't we, Dwight? We look at Talbot County as, how shall I say, I don't want to get you in trouble with any of the other counties in the shore, but in my experience is you set a very high bar in the we just lost somebody, didn't we?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we weren't interesting enough. Maybe we should be trashing people. I don't know. But anyway, you guys set a very high bar in terms of the quality of your events over there.
We do, and I mean it's here in Talbot. We're really working towards bringing younger people into the party, especially with the older population that are still a very crucial part of the party to guide younger people like myself, but also trying to find younger Republicans has been a challenge in itself. So we're working towards reaching out via email, social media, hosting these online Young Republican happy hours to to engage with young Republicans throughout the state, but also making sure that we're doing activities like, phone banking, phone calling, and then just going to different events. Unfortunately, we can't do it right now, but,
Right.
hosting those cookouts and, crab feasts and stuff like that are very important. And I'm ready to get back to that as well.
Now, you do the online stuff. I saw you did,
Yeah.
Maria, you guys, what was it, Chilling with,
Yeah, so we started a online Facebook live stream, and each week we have different people hosting, and Melissa did it the week before us, and it's called YR and Chill, and our show is centered around interviewing Republicans around the state of Maryland. And we've had, Congressman Andy Harris, we had Diana last week, we've had delegates, senators, we're having a variety of different people, and this week we have Nick Lee tomorrow, and the purpose of it for us is to have just a candid conversation. Why are you involved in politics? What are the things that make you get passionate? And kind of, it really humanizes people, and so people don't just see them as being politics 24/7, but actually like people. And we've had good response, and I think for us it's been really great because a lot of people have kind of reached out and just were like, hey, this looks interesting, we really like what you guys are saying. And so it's a way for us to connect with potential YRs, but even also people across the aisle that may find us on Facebook and they think, oh, well, that's not what I would think a young Republican is. And Jimmy can attest to this. Last week, we had an independent that jumped in on the comments and was asking some questions and was like, you guys seem really cool. Like, I really respect what you guys are saying. So it's another way for us to reach people during this pandemic, for us to be able to recruit, but for us to also be able just to have good conversations with people that we might necessarily be able to get to come to an event or speak to. So
it was very interesting. It was very interesting to Maria's point that we had different people hop in on the call the other day when we were having our Cinco de Mayo happy hour, or we were having our interview with Diana, Wires and Chill, and they're asking. One of the independents she was telling us about was asking, how do I have a candid conversation with someone that disagrees with me without getting them upset? And I really think that connects now more than ever with the turmoil we're seeing in the party in general and the issue we're seeing with the party and the infighting. That lesson, and Diana approached it as, just keep your cool, stick to the facts, and, it's okay to disagree with people. And I completely agree with Diana and others where she's right, and we need people like that to recognize, yes, everybody wants to be competitive, but cut out the name calling, cut out accusing people of this and accusing people of that on social media. I mean, if we do stuff like that, and the party doesn't heal itself, the Democrats win in November. Imagine having a President Biden or a Democratic Congress.
That was always one of
Congress.
Exactly. Always of the hospitality, the social hours that used to go on at the convention the night before. And sometimes more than often, it was sort of the more useful time. But one of the things about it was a time when you'd see somebody who you might have some disagreement or whatever, but it was in a social occasion. And you know what? You'd have to come away from that sort of just a lot more restrained, as opposed to what can happen either by email or by Facebook, where people can just say the most things that they would never say to somebody directly to their face.
Most hateful or disgusting things, and we've seen that this week, unfortunately. And I'm not going to get into it, but some of it was really offensive. But it doesn't matter. What we need, it doesn't matter who said this, who said that, or we need to move forward in the right direction, and we need to cut the fat where we can for some of the Republicans that are hurting this party in general. And I stand by that statement. I know I'll probably see a few statuses later on, but again, we're all about strengthening the party. And if we continue to allow a few bad apples tarnish our reputation as the MDGOP, then I can guarantee that, again, we're going to lose seats in the state house. We're going to lose local seats as well, because Democrats are definitely going to fundraise over this. And I can see the Democratic Party already having a field day with our infighting in general on Facebook. So enough's enough.
Dwight?
Yes. Hey, Jimmy, Maria. Can you
Hey.
guys hear me okay? One, I want to say you guys have some great people in your central committee. My friend Ben Markey, I believe he's on your central committee. Ben is awesome.
Ben's on my central committee. He's great.
Yeah, Ben and I worked in the war trenches in Virginia and other races around the country over in a previous life, actually. And Ben's a great guy. I wish I could have made it out to your dinner. I know I couldn't make it out there, but I sent Mark in my place.
Well, Ben did a great job in helping us. He did a
great job, yeah.
He's a fantastic asset in helping us, bring big people to the table. I mean, obviously, he has a close relationship with Sean Spicer, and we were able and lucky to have Sean speak at our Nick Panuzio dinner, which is also known as the Lincoln Day dinner, but named after our beloved chairman who passed away last year.
Oh, yeah, I tell you, your past chairman and I went toe-to-toe a couple times in 2011. Back in the days, he was mayor of Bridgeport, Connecticut, or something like that.
That's right. He was mayor of Bridgeport and one of a close advisor and to the president, President Ford, I believe it was, and also a true mentor and a friend to me. We miss him dearly here in Albany.
Yeah. Ours was all political. There was basically there was a central committee meeting where I think he called for adjournment before people wanted to adjourn.
You've never done that, have you, Dwight?
No, I want to be there as long as possible so people hear me pontificate and give my pearls of wisdom to everyone about the greatness, about the great state of Maryland. I like to think of myself as an ambassador from Maryland when I go to Florida and stuff like that. I go, this is nice. These beaches and everything. You've got nothing with Ocean City.
Yes. But Nick is a really good, it's worth kind of pivoting on that because there was, he certainly was a man of principle, but he also just radiated goodwill. And you could just see that he was somebody who could work with people of individuals. He could probably even work with Dwight after they went to toe-to-toe. I don't know.
We did. We actually worked together
of course
very effectively in 2016.
Yes.
At the convention, he actually got a bunch of votes for me out on the shore when I was running for delegate at large.
And it's actually one of the things about Nick, it's a lesson to learn from Nick, is that he was around for such a long time. And I think he understood that, you might be disagreeing about something today, but tomorrow you need to be working together, just, hand in glove. And if you poison the well, so to speak, with a bad relationship that's unnecessary, it just becomes that much harder to do that. And then, as you said, Maria, then we really can't do the work that we need to do as Republicans.
Yeah, he was very Reagan-esque in that aspect. Reagan could go toe-to-toe with the Democrats during the day, but after all that, set that aside and actually go do a state dinner with Tip O'Neill.
Yeah. Exactly. And Nick was the kind of mentor that I enjoyed having where, I could talk to him on the phone and, talk to him about, what issues we were facing, even when he stepped down his chair. But he also knew that, we all have differences. We all have issues sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's all about bringing the party together. And I think he would have been shocked to see what was going on right now with this.
Oh, he was there.
No, I got to disagree with you. I think he would have been disappointed. I think he's probably seen some of this nonsense in the past, but I think one of the things he would have tried to do is to figure out a way to diffuse it. And unfortunately, sometimes politics attracts people that just kind of get a little too wrapped around the axle and get kind of a little too invested in some. And frankly, frequently they unfortunately flame out, or it just becomes unbearable for them. And I think Nick would have done his best to diffuse those kind of situations, but unfortunately, I think he's probably seen a few of these tiffs in the past.
So, Jimmy, is Mike Anderson still around doing stuff for you guys in your county?
No, he's not. I haven't heard
Mike
from him
used to be my intern when I was at Extra Scene Media.
Oh.
Mike is from Montgomery County, but then he moved. He was on your central committee. I think he was your county. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, but I know he's not on there anymore. If he was.
No, he hasn't been on your committee for a while, but he's a hard worker. He's a good guy. Get him back involved. He needs to. I know he wanted to go do other stuff, but you need to come back and help the party and grow the party, so to speak.
Oh yeah, and that's where, again, that's where Maria has really excelled in growing the party, because I mean, we have a fantastic new college Republican chair, Matt Resnick, who's going to really be diversifying the party, and really, he works for Kathy Shalega, and has done a fantastic job so far in raising money. Maria, what was it, like 1,600 that he raised
it was
the other day?
It was just under $1,000 the night of the executive board meeting.
That's fantastic. I mean, and that was in 2 hours? I mean, that kind of excitement we need in younger Republicans, and that's definitely something that's leading the party in general.
And you guys are doing a phenomenal job with college. I remember the college Republicans days back. There was a lot of infighting amongst the college Republicans back in my days. Probably started with the 93 race for CRNC chair. You had some of the people that wanted somebody else, and some of the people wanted another guy from GW. And it was like too many, basically it's like, but as I tell people, it's just another day. We're Republicans. We're kind of like a family. We'll fight amongst ourselves, but we don't let outsiders say smack to us.
And that's what's been that's what's been different here, is that we have been letting outsiders, and we have been letting the media in. And I have no problem with honest reporting, but the fact that we've had certain Republicans, and I'm not going to name names because they know who they are, running to different reporters and telling inside business, it is very heartbreaking and troubling. Exactly.
And everyone knows, anyone who knows me knows one of my favorite presidents is Richard Nixon. The one who brought détente and brought peace in our times, so to speak. Unfortunately, he recognized the wrong China, but we learned from Watergate, you fix leaks. You don't have leakers. You got to take care of leakers.
And that's the thing.
Probably the wrong analogy.
Yeah, well,
just
exactly, Mark. We
know where you're going, Dwight. Your heart's in the right place, but I don't think we're proposing a plumber's unit.
No, I'm not saying we need a plumber's unit, but my point is this, right? You're from you come out of the New York GOP as well, like I do, and Joe Mandello would not tolerate this kind of nonsense that's going on. Alphonse D'Amato would not tolerate any of this stuff that's going on right now. Half the people, I hate to say this, half the people that think they're, like all this, and they all get offended, it's politics. It's a full contact sport. Grow up.
Well, and I think with the young Republicans, we're in such an interesting time, and I know Jim can attest to this, and Ryan too, because Ryan's been around for a while as well. But when I was elected chairman, there was a lot of uncertainty with the young Republicans. There was a lot of, where are we going to go from here? And there was infighting, there was disagreements, there was two different visions on how the organization should have been run. Should it be run as an organization that socializes and is just kind of that party atmosphere? Or should it shift into an organization that's grassroots focused, electing Republican focused? And, ultimately, I'm on the side of making that a grassroots organization, building the ground up. And I won my election, thankfully, and unanimously. But we've spent the last year building the organization to do that. And we've had some success. But I think also when I became chairman, I was very clear at the convention May of 2019. And I said, this is where it stops. This is where the drama stops. This is where the infighting stops. I said, the YRs are going to be an organization where we're there for each other, where we stand by each other, and where we're going to elect Republicans. None of this bringing your drama, into the organization. I have a no tolerance policy for it. And Ryan and Jimmy can tell you that. Yep. There's no drama on our executive calls, our board calls. It is straight business. And don't get me wrong, we're all going to have our own issues with different things. But at the end of the day, we don't let it ruin our friendships, and we don't let it ruin the work that we're doing. And we've had such success already in a year. I'm excited to see where we are a year from now. And to be honest, it's really nice and refreshing, that we have college Republicans and young Republicans that are very much on the same page of this. And our organizations are doing great. We're continuing to do the work that we've set out to do. We're doing our voter contacts. We're reaching out to people, and we're having fun while doing it. I can't tell you how many times over this pandemic where we've had a Zoom call or people out, and we're just having fun. And because we're waiting for the pandemic to be see that downward trend where things can start opening up more and more, where we can see each other. But we're having a blast. We're talking to each other constantly. We're sending text messages or making phone calls whenever we can. But it's just really nice because it does have that family environment again. And I'm really proud that our county chairs have really taken that message to heart, and they've continued to do that in their home counties. So it continues to have that that same continuous and unified message. So, right now, while we see things in our party the way that they are and what's been going on, I can at least turn my head and look at the young Republicans and the college Republicans and say, you know what? I have faith we're going to get past this, and that the future leaders of our party know how to do this and how to do it right, and we're going to do that. So
one of the things that we're in this environment is facing. It's like every 4 years we have yet another revolution in the way we use technology in politics. And obviously 4 years ago it was Facebook. This year it's more Zoom, and obviously Facebook has not gone away. But the opportunity, and you guys have been harnessing some of the cutting edge things. You don't have to give away all your trade secrets, Maria, but you have been doing a lot to do voter contact with a lot of new and creative ways.
Yeah. So voter contacts we've been doing. The only thing we really can't do at this point is door to door. So right. We're helping about, I think off the top of my head, at least 6 campaigns right now behind the scenes, which has just been fantastic. We've been doing it through phone banking. On top of our community calls, we've been doing that. We've been sending text messages for candidates, and we've just been really working with whoever wants to work with us. And I sent an email out to the central committees and to the legislators and all of our elected officials that are Republicans. And I was like, look, our young Republicans are here for you. And we're willing and able to help whoever wants our help candidate wise, that obviously ideologically, is within our beliefs, if you will. And been able to do that.
And you've been able to reach out. I think you were involved in that California special election.
Yes, we were.
Things came out very well.
Took a seat back.
Yes.
We did take a seat back.
We also won another seat in, I believe, is it Michigan?
I believe it's
special Wisconsin, or I think Wisconsin. We won the special race there too.
So yeah, again, we are not only giving our young Republicans the opportunity to phone bank and do voter contacts in Maryland, but across the country. Matt Resnick was like, "Oh my gosh, I can make calls into Florida. I can do this." I was like, "Absolutely." And we
keep Florida red.
As long as we're giving our YRs the opportunity to do voter contacts, like we're still doing what our mission fulfills. We don't have as many races in Maryland that are competitive or that we have necessarily up this go around, with the exception of the congressional.
I think the most competitive race we have in Maryland is probably the District 6 race between Neil and I forget the Democrat's name.
Congressman David Trone.
Is that his name?
Yes. Yeah, he keeps calling me, asking me to get on his town halls.
I thought he was the wine guy. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, it is. In terms of congressional, 6 is obviously the most competitive, but I really also like how the young Republicans are helping a lot of local races. We're helping a lot of Board of Education races. There's a couple.
I know you guys were key in Roxy's race in Bowie. You guys were really key there to help Roxy win.
Yeah, so we had a couple of YRs that went up and helped her door knock and do a couple, different things there. Julian, our Southern Maryland chair, went door knocking. Melissa Brown, our vice chair from Baltimore County. We had YRs going door knock.
You guys cleaned up Baltimore. You didn't wait for Johnny Taxpayer, Evan Young, and you guys.
Yep.
You guys deserve a great big applause.
That's worth. You might want to just kind of elaborate, because I think it was fascinating. It was a great example of what you're talking before of the reaction of doing something that was basically non-political. It was helping Baltimore, and it was fascinating the way others had to put everything through basically a partisan prism and really couldn't deal with the fact that you guys were just going in to help clean up.
Yeah, it's interesting because we were involved in both cleanups. In some capacity, we had YR representation there. Evan
Right.
was our point person for that, but we also have enhanced our ability to do service projects together. I mean, we were involved at Thanksgiving time with Tears of a Mother's Cry in Baltimore City, and then involved with them again in December, helping them distribute Christmas presents and dinner at Christmas time. So we've really amped up before the pandemic, we really were amping up our service projects as well. We were averaging probably a service project a month, which was incredible, which is something that the YRNF has really pushed the Young Republicans, when I say YRNF, the Young Republican National Federation, really encouraged their state chapters to start engaging in more service projects and being out there in the community, as well as, helping candidates, get along. And so we took that to heart. We were doing that. And it was really neat because we had a lot of different YRs get involved, and we were able to connect with people in different areas of the state when we would do that. And just to me, we've got a YR, David President and Frederick, who just constantly is doing things of service with veterans. And then we've been doing a lot of different stuff, which is just really exciting to see that we are able to do that, but B, we have the numbers to actually do that as well. Because before we only had like a handful of us before we started really organizing last year. So I'm really proud of our YRs for really balancing that, between service projects, voter contacts, social events, and working as adults. So I'm very proud of the work that they've done.
And Maria, you should, one other project, if you guys have time, I think you should go down to Washington and clean up Capitol Hill, take out the garbage there, so to speak.
Okay. Well, let's talk. Yeah, let's talk a little upbeat note. Can you talk a little bit about? I mean, the governor announced some more detail about his plans for reopening things in the state, and so we're seeing some good sort of positive developments going forward, and it's was kind of encouraging to hear him talk about that today.
Yeah, Jimmy, you want to go? Yeah, you go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting, but I think he's done a fantastic job in helping, ensuring that we're doing the right things. I know some Republicans are not happy with him. I fully support the governor and everything he's done. I was meeting with some business owners and speaking with some of them in Talbot County. And unfortunately, they are struggling. Restaurants and small businesses here depend on summer dollars. I'm speaking to you from Oxford, Maryland right now, where I live. And, some of the smaller stores here are chomping at the bits right now to make sure that the economy opens, because some of them are really struggling, again, because they depend on summer dollars. Our Oxford Ferry down the street, I mean, they would be open right now taking cars to St. Michael's. Unfortunately, they have not been able to open. And this is the first time they've been able to, to delay themselves from opening in general because, of the COVID-19 crisis. But I think it's time to get us back on track. And I believe that the governor with phase 1 is appropriate in doing this to see how it goes, because we don't want to get to phase 3 and then we have another outbreak. That would definitely devastate the economy in general.
Yeah.
It's nice that you guys are very welcome. I know the minority opinion, there's some on the shore that want to keep the people in the Western Shore on the Western Shore, but I know you guys really like us there.
Well,
we can come and visit, right?
I really think our spring conventions should be in Ocean City.
You have been waving that flag for as long as I can remember, Dwight.
Yeah, we were there, and how much fun did we have last
we
time?
have all the blast in Ocean City.
But when have we ever had it in beautiful Easton?
That'd be nice.
There you go. You're always welcome. I'm sure we'd love to have.
Isn't there that Hilton in Easton that's really nice?
No, that's I think Dorchester, isn't it?
There's a Hyatt in Dorchester.
Hyatt, that's what I meant.
Dorchester.
Hyatt.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun if we went on like this kind of this path of finding hotels around the state that actually could hold us in counties that we just haven't had conventions. I feel we do rotate between the same couple of hotels, and I understand it's because of capacity and space and making sure that they can accommodate us. But I think a couple of different counties, maybe if there's one in Southern Maryland or Dorchester County.
I think Solomon's would be great. We haven't been to Solomon's in a while, actually.
I think it'd be fun.
Also, like Prince George's County, why do we always have to be at that little crappy Comfort Inn? I know they.
We were going to be very upbeat and positive about everything.
I am being positive. Right? I'm saying, why can't we be at, say, the hotel right on Route 1 in College Park? You know how much fun a convention in College Park would be?
That could also get a lot of people arrested.
Nah. How many people get arrested in Ocean City, Maria? None. It'd be just like that. You know.
Well, we want to get things to the point where we could go out, right? So, anyway, the governor had some good announcements today about a path forward, and I, we're obviously making steps in the right direction. And as Jimmy said, we're trying to do it in stages so that we're doing it carefully and rationally. But it is encouraging to see that things are moving in the right direction that way.
Yeah, and I think with the announcement of, the restaurants and a couple of types of businesses being able to open at 50% capacity is reassuring, particularly for places like barbershops and things like that, where you already have appointments that you schedule for typically when you do that. So I'm really excited about that. I mean, Jimmy knows this, but I have family from the Eastern Shore that live on the Eastern Shore. So I know that they're really excited about this and that they're going to be able to finally go out a little bit more. But I think overall, as long as everyone's careful, I think Maryland will continue to move forward the way it's planned to. I just hope people use the caution and the discretion if they're feeling well to not overdo it or chance it, because you do put a lot of people at risk. And even though we've had a relatively small percentage of people with the coronavirus, we certainly don't want it to get worse or having us to have to start back at square one.
If we look at states like Georgia that have reopened, and everyone was saying, "Oh my God, you've opened it! You're going to have like 1 million corona cases in the next 10 days," and they haven't. And I think it's a good sign. Georgia's reopened, Florida's reopening. I know King Mark Elric doesn't want to open Montgomery County up so he could slip in tax hikes while everyone's not paying attention. I think that's the whole reason there. For Montgomery County, but actually there's probably parts of the state that wish Montgomery County would just stay closed forever.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. Yeah, you can't.
It's a trick question. You got to be careful there.
I know. I was trying to choose
this
my
is
words
like
carefully.
Politics 101, when somebody sets up something like that,
Dwight seems to have a lot of those situations.
Montgomery County should be what?
Look, we make fun of our county. We know our county is a little goofy. We've got some goofy leadership. We've got some goofy people in the party. We got a guy that likes to make tchotchkes at everything. And he's like obsessed with. I don't know.
Who's that? That's what I want to know.
He's obsessed with like Spiro Agnew and Richard Nixon and Warren G. Harding and Wendell Winky. And everything's a
I don't know. Well, guys, I think we're up we put in about a half hour. We've really heard a lot about what the great stuff that the YRs are doing. Actually, on multiple fronts. We're talking about campaign stuff, but also on sort of social and positive community stuff. And you're growing. So, and you're using technology, you're kind of engaging people. So it's a great template that can be used across the
also,
party.
Mark, the YRs are also another great farm team for us for fielding candidates in 2022.
Absolutely.
Jake Shade was a YR, and now he's a city councilman in Cumberland, I believe.
No, he's a county councilman.
Actually, he was a TAR before he was a YR too.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yes,
I didn't know the TARs existed before Ryan and Matt. I thought Ryan and Matt.
I know, but he actually was a TAR, right? And actually, so was Fiona. But we won't go keep going on that. But, I mean, it's See, I'm aging myself in the sense that I've seen the cycles over a period of time, and we have a lot of great people who
now in leadership. Like Jesse Pippi was a YR, he still is a YR. We've got David Marks, who's aged out of the YRs, but he was a councilman from Baltimore County. He was the College Republicans Federation chair in Maryland back in the day, and he was the flagship president at the University of Maryland. We've got some great leaders, and I think we'll see maybe one day a delegate or a senator, Sophia, and others,
Everyone's got plans for Maria.
That's right.
I agree. Yeah. Well, I do have plans for another YR who I would like to see be chairman, but we'll leave this for a different show.
Oh no. While we're speaking of technology, I do want to give a shout out. We now have text to donate for the Montgomery County Republican Club. So to all our loyal viewers, if you text MoCo to 22525, you can make a donation to help fund quality broadcasts like this in Dwight's next round of Chotskis.
Yes, and we can't do it without viewers like you, as PBS would say.
There were those who said that it would be impossible for us to keep the club alive if we weren't able to have pizza, and we've proven those naysayers wrong.
By the way, guys, I'm pretty optimistic. I think we might be able to do a practice Pizza and Politics end of June and a real one in July.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I just thought of this, but we can start accepting online payments for Pizza and Politics. So
there you go.
All the better.
Hey, there it is.
By the way, we need to list my house as one of the best pizza places, because during this shutdown, I have cracked the code for making the perfect pizza for us.
Oh my!
And pizza.
Well, we have that to look forward to. But Jimmy and Maria, thanks for being on the show. Ryan, thank you. Not quite behind the scenes because you're front and center, but
any final thoughts? By the way, Maria, Jimmy, anything you want to leave us with?
I'm very anxious to get on for the first time doing the virtual convention on Saturday. To kind of discuss, what plans we have for the 2020 election and making sure we get the president elected again.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to having more YRs join our efforts.
And we all eagerly await the YR roast, by the way.
Oh, it's been so good. I'm glad you brought that up, because actually it's being rescheduled and we are going between two dates right now. One in September, one in October. We are waiting to hear back from Governor Bob, but we do have it already getting ready to be on the books. And I'm hoping maybe later this week we can drop the next date. We're very excited. The hotel's been so great working with us, just moving our content to that date.
And Nahid's also great working with you guys.
She's fantastic, and I love working with her. So, so we're just waiting to hear back the date, and I'm really excited that it's still full steam ahead for this, and it's definitely anticipated, and we're looking forward to it.
Right.
Okay, see everyone next
week.
Thank
you.
All right, guys.
Resume our road trip down 95, and we have another governor next week.
Thank you, everyone.